Core is a term that is usually used to mean the most important part or the central point of something. However, as time passes and things change, many of the terms and words that were used 100 years ago aren't used the same way as today and completely evolve into something new with different meanings. Core is usually a noun and sometimes a verb if it's in the right circumstances, and is never really used to be put at the end of another word like a suffix, except it kinda has. Terms like hardcore and nightcore have been used around for quite a while now, but never really to the extent to the way it is being used as of recently, at least to my understanding. In the world of aesthetics and I guess art, there's recently been a trend where many images resonate a certain vibe and style that is present in a lot of them. Whether it be very surrealist surroundings and or imagery, low quality photograph and or visual images, or sped up / slow down music with reverb, they all fall into a genre that has a suffix that's associated with them, which is core. So recently I've been looking at these aesthetic images and I thought it'd be fun to share my findings with y'all and possibly show you something new for you guys to appreciate. Most of my findings are from the Aesthetic Fan Wiki, and I know Fan Wiki sort of have this stigma around it, but I think for this one occasion it was a great starting point for me to learn some of these core categories that many people may not know. So here's some cores that I think people might like. Teethcore is an interesting aesthetic that I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I did. This aesthetic focuses around the theme of teeth. Sometimes they may feature elements like the tooth fairy or braces, anything that's teeth related really. Some posts under this tag may express the fear of losing their teeth or visiting the dentist, or some could insinuate that the tooth fairy is going to enjoy having their teeth. It's a mixed bag really. Overall, it's a really niche aesthetic that I didn't think would even exist, or let alone I even enjoy, but I kinda did. Anyways, here are some of my favorite posts under this tag. Urban core is an aesthetic that involves a lot of urban places such as city streets and skate parks at night, hence the name urban core. Urban core is often associated to real life, modern day society, and almost always is based in recent decades. Most posts under this aesthetic usually emits a youthful, rebellious, angsty teen vibes that you would see in the early to mid 2000s. Personally, this aesthetic kinda hits home for me since I usually have lived around these impoverished / ghetto graffitied areas as a kid, and it kinda gives me a sense of familiarity in a way, and I guess a bit of nostalgia. Anyways, here's some posts that I really like under this aesthetic tag. Devilcore is an aesthetic that may be inspired by satanic / demonic imagery. It may include themes such as knives, blood, weapons, demons, horns, claws, fangs, death, and maybe some religious symbols or emblems. Most posts about this aesthetic is usually bold, dark, and edgy, sometimes gothic I guess. I personally don't like this aesthetic myself, it just comes off too try-hard for me, but I do find it endearing in a weird way though. After browsing through some devilcore posts, I get reminded of all the old creepypasta stuff that would scare me when I was a little kid. Some of them gave me off major Zalgo vibes, which if you didn't know, Zalgo was kind of an art trend of its own. But of course, devilcore isn't always scary or edgy. Sometimes it can be kind of cute, you know? But I'm gonna be moving on from this aesthetic. And other than that, here's some devilcore posts that I really like. Trashcore is an aesthetic that usually focuses around old or decaying scenery, garbage, or dirty items and such. By the way, I'm only talking about the aesthetic trashcore, not the music genre trashcore. That's different. It's more about death metal bands just jumping the shark, I guess, at least from what little research I did. This is unscripted, I'm just gonna go back to the video. At first glance, it seems trashcore is a meme that the Aesthetic Fan Wiki just put there for shits and giggles. And it might be, but if it isn't, there's a certain vibe that I feel whenever I see a post related to this aesthetic. It almost acts like a wake-up call for me in some scenarios, since I tend to be a very disorganized person, especially when it comes to cleaning my room. It speaks to me, but in a very realistic way. Clowncore is an aesthetic that involves the theme of clowns, mimes, or jesters that are usually presented in a joyful or colorful manner, whether it be through fashion, art, or music. Some of the common elements that you might see in clowncore are balloons, polka dot patterns, bows, and general things you see at a children's party or the circus. This aesthetic can be a hit or miss for some people. Some people might not like it because they just might not like clowns at all. They might not like the exaggerated features of a clown or just the general makeup, since it could be very, uncanny at times. And there might be some people who enjoy this aesthetic since it might remind them of their childhood, since this whole aesthetic has a very childlike wonder to it, which, makes sense because it's like colorful, silly, goofy kind of thing. Then you have other people that might like this aesthetic for different reasons that I'm not going to get into. And speaking from my point of view, it's kind of nice to see some cheerful clowns being an aspect in this aesthetic, especially after the years of clowns just kind of being used as a mocking tool, or just kind of like made edgy with the Joker thing, but that's whatever. I'm just saying it's nice to see the whole idea of clowns being funny and goofy kind of just being, a part of this thing. The way clowns were meant and tend to be, From what I could tell from an artist's perspective, it looks like a fun medium to create content for, and it's something that has a lot of passion being poured into, especially with these posts and, I guess, content. I'm really bad at using synonyms. Shut up.
If you haven't subscribed to That's the Deal Yo, you are missing out on a lot, because That's the Deal Yo makes very awesome videos, and you should subscribe. And if you're not, and if you only subscribe for the Undertale icebergs, he isn't ready anymore. Yo, you want more? Deal with it. Subscribe right now, or I, Monk, will come knocking at your door. Anyways, Monk out.